Norman Buwalda had opened this cage door 1,000 times. His hand knew the rusted latch by feel alone. But on this January afternoon in 2010, his body would not leave this enclosure the same way it entered. It was January 20th, 2010, in Southgate Township, Ontario, farm country, flat and cold and still. But Norman Buwalda's property was unlike any of his neighbors' farms. Behind his house, inside a heavy steel enclosure, lived a Bengal tiger named Zeus. Norman was no eccentric drifter. He was the chairman of the Canadian Exotic Animal Owners Association, a man who believed deeply that private citizens had the right to keep big cats if they were responsible. He was organized, vocal, and proud of what he had built. For years, local municipalities had tried to ban Norman's tiger. They passed bylaws ordering Zeus removed. Norman fought back, in meetings, in courts, in the press. He argued that responsible ownership was possible, and time after time, he won. But there was a cost to Norman's conviction. In 2004, a young visitor had come to the property, a 10-year-old boy. Zeus attacked. The boy lost most of his arm. The public was horrified. Authorities investigated, but they could not prove the attack was Zeus's fault beyond what the law required. Norman's wife, Sandy, watched him fight through every consequence. She knew the risk. She had seen the injured boy, but Norman refused to give in. He could not be wrong. He would not be defeated. On the morning of January 20th, 2010, Norman did what he always did. He went out to feed Zeus. He had done this thousands of times. Routine, ritual, control. He entered the enclosure. He was alone. Sandy was inside the farmhouse. No one else was there to see what happened next. No one to call out. No one to help. Zeus attacked. The tiger's 660 pounds of muscle and teeth bore down on Norman. Whatever control Norman believed he had, whatever bond he thought existed between man and beast, it vanished in seconds. Sandy heard the noise. She ran to the window. She saw the tiger attacking her husband. She called emergency services immediately. The Ontario Provincial Police and paramedics were dispatched. When emergency responders arrived, Norman Buwalda was already dead. He had suffered catastrophic injuries. The tiger, unharmed, was contained in the enclosure. The man who had fought every government order to remove Zeus, the man who had won every legal battle to keep the tiger, was dead by his own animal's teeth and claws. A coroner's inquest was held. It confirmed what everyone already knew. Norman Buwalda had died from injuries inflicted by Zeus. He had been the sole keeper of the tiger for years. No one had been allowed inside the enclosure with him. He had chosen to be alone with the animal he believed he controlled. Zeus was transferred to a licensed wildlife facility. Norman's legal battle was over. The Canadian Exotic Animal Owners Association lost its most famous advocate, and Sandy was left alone on the farm, the place where her husband's belief in control had finally been broken. Norman Buwalda was not cruel. He was not reckless by his own lights. He was a man who believed he knew better than wild instinct. He won every legal fight. But on that January afternoon in 2010, the tiger was never going to ask his permission to be a tiger. No amount of lawsuits changes what lives inside a 660-pound predator. Norman learned the hardest way there is. If you love this story, please like and follow. We share real stories about the moments when pride meets consequence.